Hello, amazing artists, and thank you so much for joining me either in my class on Zoom or joining me for the first time here on Seesaw. Super excited to be working with you this week. We have a fun project coming up that I'm excited to tell you about. So, first off, I just wanted to recognize that there is a lot happening in the world right now. There's a lot happening in our communities. There's a lot of stuff happening that is affecting all of us. Incredible stuff from the Black Lives Matter movement, people standing up for one another, protesting in the streets, standing up for freedom, standing up for people's lives, standing up for what's important, community and love. Remember, we're not free until we're all free. Um, we had the loss of the actor that played Black Panther in the movie this past week, and that's very, very difficult. And something that I believe about that is that Black Panther lives on in each of us as we continue to fight for freedom and do what's right for everybody, for the world. So I just wanted to appreciate all of you and appreciate the ways that you've been showing up in class, in your classrooms, in art class with your other specials teachers. I've appreciated so much the work that you've been doing. We've been having a good time together. Thank you for your honesty and thank you for sharing. This past week, some of you got started on your names and those words that are powerful to you. And if you haven't finished that yet, that's okay. Keep working on it. For the next about month, we are going to be celebrating Latinx or Hispanic Heritage Month, and we are going to be focusing on some amazing Latinx artists that I'm excited to talk about their work and do some projects based around their work. So we are going to be starting off with the work and learning about the work of Frida Kahlo, learning a little bit about Frida Kahlo. Many of you have probably heard of Frida Kahlo before. We're going to be watching something or reading something rather called an Itty Bitty Bio. And it's a little tiny book that has a few facts about Frida Kahlo. We'll read that. And it's a project that we are going to work on together for the next 3 weeks, looking at creating our own itty bitty bios. So, what I want you to notice is they talk about a significant events in her life. They talk about her school life, where she was born. They also talk about some challenging things that came up, happy events, and things she was proud of. Now, for this week and this week's assignment, we're going to talk about where we were born and what that was like, a significant event in your life, and your school life. What are your favorite subjects? What is it about school that you enjoy, or what do you find challenging? So we're going to be creating our own itty bitty bios, but first let's take a look at how that's done and learn a little bit about the life of Frida Kahlo. So in a second, I'm going to share my screen with you and we will check that out. All right, artists. So here it is. You've probably seen this before in class. These are itty bitty bios. They tell stories about different people. So this one's about Frida Kahlo. Later, we'll be looking at her self-portrait work when we come back, but we're not doing that project yet. We'll be designing covers, looking at self-portraits and like the work of Frida Kahlo in a few weeks. But let's take a look at her life. I was born in 1907 in Mexico. Life was hard, people were poor and hungry. I was 6 when I got polio. I played sports, but I was shy. My school was mostly boys. I was smart. I wanted to be a doctor. I was in a bus crash. I was 18. I broke bones. I wanted to feel better. I painted self-portraits. I married Diego Rivera. He was an artist too. We traveled for work. I was proud of my country. I wore traditional Mexican clothing. I sold a self-portrait. A big museum bought it. I was always creating art. I made about 200 pieces of artwork. I died in 1954. My work became more famous. People can visit my old home. This is a little timeline about her life. So I want you to notice here, you are welcome for this assignment. She used, these are actual photographs of her home, and then they drew around the outside of it with colors. Again, that's a photograph of her actually painting, creating art. This is actually a self-portrait she did of herself, and we will talk later about more of her self-portrait work when we design the cover of our books. This is a photograph of her too. And you notice right here that there's a drawing of her. So you can think about, how do you want to incorporate, do you want to incorporate some photographs in your itty bitty bio about yourself? Or do you want to do drawings? That's up to you. Her and her husband. Again, another drawing right here, and these are her actual paints that she uses. Her school. Again, another photograph of her, and a photograph from when she was young. So, artists, take a moment this week to think about how you want to tell your story. And like I said, we're going to be spending the next 3 weeks working on this project. For this week, what I'd like you to think about is where you were born, what that looked like. What was a significant event in your life? Maybe something that changed you. I think part of it for Frida Kahlo was having this bus crash that she was in. She broke so many bones in her body, and she was held up in bed for such a long time, and she painted while she was in bed. It doesn't have to be a tragic or painful event, but what is something that helped shape who you are? And then what is something from your school life that you want to share? Maybe it's your favorite subjects. Maybe it's something about your friends. Maybe it's something about one of your teachers that inspired you. What is it that you want to share? So that's what we're going to be working on this week. Feel free to use photographs or do drawings or do a little bit of both. So right here, I have 3 different pieces of paper. Let's do 1 piece of art on each paper. If you want to, you could do half and half. You could fold it in half, do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. That's up to you. Think about how you want to create it. It's going to be your own itty bitty bio. And we've been spending a lot of time this year, taking time, getting to know each other more like we talked about, because we're on Zoom. We have the chance and the opportunity to do that. So work on those things. Next week, we'll work on some more things, and we'll be keeping it all together in that safe spot where we're keeping our artwork. I'm excited to introduce you to more artists, more about Frida Kahlo. We will also be looking at the work of artist Carmen Lomas Garza and possibly a spoken word artist coming up. So be looking out for that. I hope you can join me in class, because we also have an amazing, amazing contest coming up with Mr. Steve and Mr. Fab. So hit me up if you want more details about that, if you weren't able to join class and you want to know more about that. I think Mr. Steve will probably have it posted on Instagram as well, but for sure, hit me up if you want to know more details, okay? I'm thinking about all of you, and just be sure to upload your work on Seesaw, share a little video or voice recording about what you did, and then keep your art in a folder or notebook or safe place so we keep it all nice and safe. Remember, try your best, never give up, positive attitude, have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of fun, and remember, all right, artists, I'll be seeing you real soon. Have a great, great week.